to the second edition of Meet the METAPRENEUR. We have with us today Xander Sims, coming all the way from the USA. Welcome, Xander, to the show.
Hello. Thank you.
Yes, Xander, I'd like you to first introduce yourself to our audience. Tell them what you're up to, what's your background, and what's your area of specialization.
Definitely. Okay. I'm coming from St. Louis, Missouri. I am a creative technologist, an entrepreneur, and an artist. My background is in traditional web 2.0 and social media marketing, and also video production and graphic design. So I always had a deep love for creativity. I was an artist. I did stage plays and played guitar and sing, and played across the country, and did all sort of performing arts. And then in grad school, I got very heavy into the visual arts. And so my first job out of grad school was as a paraprofessional, which is like an assistant teacher for students with special needs. And it was in my hometown, and I needed work, and I had an undergrad in education. So I got the chance to work with some special needs children, and some of them were on the spectrum, autism spectrum, and nonverbal. Two things happened. One was I got an email for a technology acquisition grant, and I was really interested in how I could help these students. And one of my students in particular had a very cool personality, and it had its machine he could talk with, but it was heavy and kind of cumbersome and limited his play. So I thought maybe there would be some software that could help him express himself and not have that limited mobility. And then the other children in the school actually just were using flashcards to communicate. They didn't have the luxury. So we got the grant, applied the technology, and that's when I gained a very deep love for technology's ability to solve problems. And so I married the love for creativity and then the deep love for technology, and that's brought me into the Web3 space today.
Oh, that's great. Actually, I've been following you on LinkedIn. That's how I connected to you. And I see that you are helping brands find their voice through creative videos. So can you share some information with our audience about the brands that you are working with and the projects that you are working on these days?
Definitely. So I'm super excited to be working with a couple very innovative brands in the Web3 space. Currently, I'm working on Metaverse Fashion Show Week with 3Dium. They're a partner. It's hosted in Decentraland. And there's a number of brands involved with that. That's the 24th through the 27th. There's a lot of exciting brands involved with that, like GM, Estee Lauder. Who else is involved? Dolce & Gabbana, Mercedes will be there. There's a lot of luxury brands that will have presence.
That's amazing. And also I wanted to ask you, can you explain to our audience a little bit about the AR, VR, and MR components of the metaverse? What do they really mean for people who are still struggling with the jargon of metaverse?
Definitely. So I would say, so VR would be you going into the world usually through a headset, hopefully through glasses soon. And augmented AR, augmented reality, is kind of projecting a digital layer into the physical world. And then there's mixed reality, which is kind of a blending of those two worlds, the combination of the digital and the physical. And yeah, those are my understandings of it in their
that's great. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that jargon. And in my opinion, based on whatever I'm reading on social media and elsewhere on the internet, the center of gravity is clearly shifting towards the metaverse. Do you agree with that? Do you think this is the future and the future is now?
Definitely. That is a very good point. I absolutely do believe that. John Radoff had a quote that says, "The metaverse is here now. Don't listen to the cynics." They won't build anything anyway. I used in the quote. I thought it was really cool because it may be in its infancy, but I think it is still definitely we're in the genesis of this new phase. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, for me, you know, it's 1996 all over again because I'm a Web 1 guy. And, you know, when the internet came about for the first time, people had no clue what it would entail. And here we are today, 26 years later, entering the metaverse, I would say. And it's all being built as we speak. So I think in the next couple of years, most people will be spending a lot of time in virtual reality, in the metaverse, and indeed, you know, living, interacting, and communicating in the metaverse. So I congratulate you for taking the decision to be one of the early movers in this space. And I'm sure you will have a lot of success in this field. But before I let you go, I have one final question. What is your advice to budding entrepreneurs who are just entering the metaverse, NFT, and Web3 space? What's your, let's say, 2 tips that you would like to share with them?
Definitely. Okay. One would be you gotta kind of stay true to yourself and know your own values, because there's a lot of noise and it moves very, very fast. I think just staying true to your own personal why and what you're looking for, and taking that into the community is a way to enter in an authentic way, as opposed to just whatever opportunity is in front of you. I know it's kind of tough to get started in, but you know, the more self-actualization you do, the happier you'll be in the long run, I think. And then the second piece of advice I would say is you got to network your butt off. I would definitely suggest LinkedIn as a place to authentically do that, and you know, really become a part of a community. If you can't, if you're starting from scratch and you don't have any followers or any sort of community, don't let that stop you. You know, show up on other people's posts and comment. You know, and you know, show up to the party and mingle. Don't just talk about yourself. You know, really interact with people. And there's a lot of really people who are willing to. The Web3 community is amazing. They're willing to just help other people develop. And I think you can tap into that.
Yeah, and I would add to that, have a lot of fun along the way, because you'll meet some great people in the metaverse, and it'll be an enjoyable ride. So thank you for all the advice and the time you spent with me, Xander. I will stay connected with you going forward, and I wish you all the best and a lot of success in what you're doing.
Thank you, Sharad. I'm looking very forward to watching the rest of this really cool show. I enjoyed the first episode and excited to see the kind of guests you have on here. Thank you.
Sure. You will be live next week with our audience, and see you on the other side. Bye for now.
See you later.